Rediscover your past by digitizing your family's memories with LEGACYBOX. Watch until the end of this video to find out more about preserving your legacy, and then visit legacybox.com/recollection. 1945 was a year of sacrifice that would pay off by the end. The United States had grown to 140 million people, and for Americans, there was still much uncertainty. Wars in Europe and in the Pacific raged on, but the Allied forces were advancing on Germany and Japan. The year would see many changes, including the loss of a president. These are the events of 1945. On January 8th, the University of Kentucky Wildcats set an NCAA basketball record by holding Arkansas State to just 6 points in a lopsided 75-6 victory. This is a mark that still stands as one of the most dominant performances in college basketball history. Just days later, on January 20th, Franklin D. Roosevelt was sworn in for an unprecedented fourth term as president. By January 25th, the city of Grand Rapids, Michigan, became the first in the nation to add fluoride to its public water supply, beginning a nationwide effort to improve dental health. February 4th was the date when FDR, Winston Churchill, and Joseph Stalin met at the Yalta Conference to discuss how the war would hopefully end and how the world would be divided up afterward. Beginning on February 13th, Allied forces launched a devastating bombing campaign on Dresden in Germany, creating a massive firestorm that destroyed much of the city and killed tens of thousands of civilians. On February 23rd, U.S. Marines raised the American flag during the Battle of Iwo Jima, a moment captured in an iconic photograph that would come to symbolize the war effort. On March 6th, an inventor from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, named George Nissen, received a patent for the modern-day trampoline, a simple idea that would later become a staple of sports and recreation. March 23rd was the beginning of the Battle of Okinawa, as U.S. forces bombarded the island ahead of the invasion, leading to one of the bloodiest battles in the Pacific Theater. On March 29th, movie star Jimmy Stewart, who was serving in the war, was promoted to a full colonel. He was one of the few Americans to enlist as a private and rise to the rank of a decorated officer within just 4 years. On the day of April 12th, President Franklin D. Roosevelt was at the Little White House in Warm Springs, Georgia. While he was sitting for a painted portrait, he had a stroke and died of a cerebral hemorrhage. Vice President Harry S. Truman was sworn in later that same day. On April 22nd, as Soviet forces were closing in on Berlin, Adolf Hitler reportedly flew into a rage after learning a counterattack had failed. He then acknowledged that Germany had lost the war. Just days later, on April 28th, Italian dictator Benito Mussolini and his companion Clara Petacci were captured and executed by Italian partisans while they were attempting to flee. On April 30th, Adolf Hitler died by suicide in his Berlin bunker. He was alongside his wife of one day, Eva Braun, and this marked the collapse of Nazi leadership as Soviet troops seized the city. Victory in Europe was declared on May 8th, known as Victory in Europe Day, or VE Day. Celebrations erupted across Allied nations following Germany's surrender. On June 20th, U.S. officials approved the transfer of German rocket scientist Werner von Braun to America, part of a secret effort dubbed Operation Paperclip that would later influence America's race to the moon. A tragic accident occurred on July 28th when a U.S. Army plane crashed into the Empire State Building in New York City during heavy fog, killing 14 people. Just 2 days later, on July 30th, the USS Indianapolis was sunk by a Japanese submarine, leading to one of the worst naval disasters in U.S. history, with many survivors of the disaster lost to shark attacks as they drifted in the water. 300 crew members went down with the ship, 900 survived and went into the water, but only 316 were rescued 5 days later. On August 6th, the United States dropped an atomic bomb on the city of Hiroshima in Japan. The bomb was delivered by a B-29 named the Enola Gay, and the explosion unleashed unprecedented destruction. Three days later, on August 9th, a second U.S. atomic bomb struck Nagasaki, Japan. This accelerated Japan's decision that their chance of winning the war was lost. World War II officially came to an end on September 2nd, when Japan formally surrendered aboard the USS Missouri, a day remembered as Victory over Japan Day. On October 3rd, a young Elvis Presley made his first public appearance at age 10 in Tupelo, Mississippi, at the fair. He stood on a chair and sang Old Shep, winning 5th place and $5 in ride tickets. By October 8th, Raytheon engineer and inventor Percy Spencer applied for a patent that would lead to the development of the microwave oven. The very first radar range would follow the next year. The Nuremberg trials began on November 20th, as leading Nazi officials were brought to justice for war crimes in a historic international tribunal. On December 5th, 5 U.S. Navy planes, known as Flight 19, vanished during a training mission out of Florida. They became one of the most enduring mysteries associated with the Bermuda Triangle. Lastly, on December 21st, General George Patton died from injuries sustained in a car accident as he rode in a Cadillac limousine in Germany. He was on his way to hunt pheasants when his car crashed into an army vehicle. Recollection Road and LEGACYBOX both believe it's important to preserve the past. If you're like me, there's a box of your family's treasured home movies and photos tucked away somewhere, and LEGACYBOX can help you preserve them digitally. The process is a simple and safe solution for converting your home movies and photos to thumb drive or to the cloud. Just send in your LEGACYBOX filled with old VHS and camcorder tapes, film reels, and pictures, and get back digital copies that can be easily enjoyed, shared, and kept organized. It's that easy. LEGACYBOX is trusted by over 1 million people, and it's all done right here in the USA. Get started preserving your past today. Go to LEGACYBOX.com/recollection to get an incredible 55% off. Buy today to take advantage of this exclusive offer and send in your memories when you're ready. Go to LEGACYBOX.com/recollection to save 55% while supplies last. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything, and make sure to check the description of this video for links to pick up a t-shirt. Also, don't forget to visit our friends at Horn & Hardart to save 10% on your next order. Visit hornandhardart.com/recollection. Thank you to our loyal Patreon supporters listed here. Visit patreon.com/recollectionroad to join the club.